Faces of Abortion is the only television program of its kind that shares the powerful, real-life stories of women, men, and families who have suffered through the destruction of abortion. You will be hearing powerful stories from women and men and families throughout the nations. Faces of Abortion touches lives and changes hearts in over 115 nations. You will also be given practical steps on how you can end abortion.
So it just overwhelmed me. And I thought the only way to escape the pain was to take my life.
I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to have my own children.
It brings heartache. It brings hurt.
And I knew they were tearing my baby apart.
I remember the cold feeling of the room.
I remember laying there and I just said to myself that I will never forgive myself for what I'm doing.
I believe that my life was spared that night just so that I could be here right now and say abortion hurts women.
Whisper, be silent no more.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Cindy Collins, and I'd like to introduce my co-host, Alan Parker, who is president of the Justice Foundation, and Clayton Trotter, who is general counsel of the Justice Foundation. Looks like we're going to have a great show today, Alan.
We really are, Cindy. It's going to be amazing to hear the testimony of Yvette, who's going to tell us about her abortion. And then we're also going to have a family, a father and mother, and their child who survived an abortion.
I'm excited to hear what we're going to be seeing today on today's show. And now let's go ahead and hear Yvette's story in her own words.
My name is Yvette, and I'm here to share with you my story of my abortion. When I was 21 years old, 1 month after my 21st birthday, I found out that I was pregnant. I had just broken up with my boyfriend and told him that it was over. And I was in the military. I was only in the military for about 6 months and was pursuing a military career and found out that I was pregnant. And I was scared, I was terrified. I didn't want to be a single mom. I didn't want to return home pregnant and place that burden on my mother. So I talked to my roommate, and she said, I know what you can do if you don't want to be pregnant. The word abortion, I can't remember was ever in the conversation. I just knew that I didn't want to be pregnant. I was about 4 weeks along. I was a laboratory technician, so I knew how far along I was. And I thought, well, it's not a baby, it's just a blob of cells, so I'm fine. I just need to do it as soon as possible. She made all the arrangements for the procedure, and she took me to the clinic. And outside the clinic, there were people standing with signs, and at that time I didn't know who they were. Now I know that there were people who believe that abortion is wrong. I went to the clinic. The nurse did a pregnancy test. She told me it was positive, and she just asked, do you have the money? There was no counseling involved. No one ever asked me, did I know what I was doing? I went back to the room. The nurse stood at my head, and she held my hand. I was scared. I was petrified. The doctor came in. During the procedure, I started to cry. I don't know why I was crying. I was just crying. And the doctor, I think he slapped me on the thigh and said, don't worry about it, you're only 4 weeks along. I started crying some more. After the procedure, I realized that I had made the biggest mistake in my life. I still didn't comprehend that I had aborted my baby, but instantly I felt a loss that I can't describe. After the procedure, they ushered us out the back door. And with my head down, I went home, and I spent the weekend in bed crying. And just thinking about the decision that I had made and could I change it? And I realized that it was over. I could never change that decision. As the years went by, I tried to tell myself that I had done the right thing. But every once in a while I would cry and I would mourn over that baby that I never had. Back in 1993, God called me His, and I accepted His invitation and became a born-again Christian. Instantly, He decided to start healing me of my abortion. And for many years, I had walked in shame and had never told anyone about my abortion decision. I never felt forgiven. And He started speaking to my heart and telling me that He did forgive me, but there was still a loss and there was still a hurt. In 1995, I became a volunteer at a pregnancy care center in San Antonio, and I went through a post-abortion program. And at that time, I realized that I could receive His forgiveness and believe that He did forgive me. And at that time, I started to mourn the loss of this unborn child. It was then that I realized that at 4 weeks along that my baby had a heartbeat, and it was not a clump of cells. And that knowledge almost destroyed me. But God was there for me, and He lifted me up. And I'm here to tell you that there's so many things that you may not know when you're considering abortion, that at 9 weeks along, the fingerprints are already there. And that baby is alive, is kicking, and all it's needs is a safe place inside your womb to be nurtured. So I want to encourage you that if you're out there that you're scared, don't rush into the decision of abortion. Get all the information. Realize that there's something greater than yourself, and that's God. And He is for you. And He's waiting for you to say yes to His plan for your life. There's so many regrets that I have. I wish that I could have my 16-year-old son, Jeremiah, with me. I'm single. And I don't know to this day if I can ever have children. I'm abstinent, and I'm trying to live my life the way that I feel that God intended me to live my life. But I'm encouraging you to give yourself a chance, to give yourself joy, and to know that God believes in you. And you can make it as a single mom. You can make it as a married woman whose husband doesn't want you to have any more children. You can make it. And there's someone greater than the world who's telling you that this child is not, doesn't belong to this world, it's going to be a burden. But this child is a gift. It's a gift. And I'm just encouraging you to take the strength and the courage to say no to abortion and yes to life.
What a powerful story, hearing Yvette's story. And if you've listened to that and you may be feeling those same feelings that Yvette, and you want to go ahead and speak with somebody, we want to encourage you to call our toll-free line now. There is somebody there that wants to hear from you, and we'll be praying for you, a post-abortive woman. I know, Alan, we were talking about the testimony of Yvette and how powerful her story is.
It is. It shows you once again that what you think of as the solution turns out to be a doorway to pain and suffering in your life. And it is the cry of my heart not to have to see more women go through what Yvette has gone through. And I know it's the cry of her heart and why she's willing to tell her story and